Now, you mentioned you are now a board member on different companies, Marzida,
Yeah.
right? Now, what does it take to survive as a board member, Marzida?
Okay. So this is tough because it's a whole different ballgame altogether.
Mm.
Because you see, when I think there are a lot of studies have shown, right, that as you go up further up the chain of command, you know, I mean, the women tend to fall off.
Mm.
Right? You get more women entering universities, for example, but then as they move up, you know, the chain of command, you realize that there's less and less of them survive to the top, you know,
Correct.
for whatever reasons, you know, they might drop off because of they wanted a career break for family, for children, or for many other reasons, you know.
Correct.
So you find that there are not that many women CEOs, especially as well at the top. So
Correct.
can you imagine if you don't develop that pipeline, have a healthy pipeline,
Mm.
how are you going to have a good supply of women board members?
Absolutely.
Right? Because they need to be you know to have gone
Room.
through that pipeline as well, you know. So what I realized that is actually very, very tough, right? When you get there, it's actually very, very tough because you've got to fight against bias because you know the term the old boys club, you know, they tend to just recommend and appoint people who are like them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and mostly people who they go to golf with, people who they you know share drinks with, they go out with, you know. I mean, you know, this brotherhood kind of thing. You know, they go to school with, you know. So chances are, you know, more likely than not, they probably ended up recommending men, right? So that one you can tell there's a big difference there, you know. So you need to be able to then compete or to be able to then, you know, to be able to then expose yourself to that environment so that they get to know you. Yeah.
Correct.
So that one, yes, I can feel that because in the professional life, I didn't feel that much of a bias, right? I think when you get into the that level of becoming a board member, you can tell that it's actually a battle of having to sort of like prove yourself that you're not going to be the stereotypical what they think a women board member will be.
Yeah.
You know, so because they think that, oh, they're going to be so detail oriented, you know, they're going to be so difficult to work with, you know. So you're always like having to manage this balance, you know, so much so that my first board appointment, when I sought for advice from the chairperson, and she's a lady, the one thing she advised me, she said, this is a male dominated company, right? So you need to go easy. You got to ease into your role.
Wow.
Yeah, because and I could tell, you know, they don't like to be told off. They don't like to be not told off. They don't like to be called out. Yeah, you know. So first meeting I had with the chief information officer in that company, they presented me with a paper that they want me to review before it gets approved for tabling to the board. There were a lot of mistakes, you know, from the way they calculated the costs, the way they wrote the paper. And I thought I was just being pleasant, right? I was in this meeting with the CIO together with the manager that wrote the paper, and I just point out certain irregularities. Yeah. And the CIO, the male, he's female, right? His face was just changed. Wow. You could tell that he didn't like that I pointed out all of these mistakes, you know, and it reflected on him because he didn't read his manager's paper, board paper. Obviously, he didn't read it, so there were a lot of mistakes in there.
Wow.
So I could tell that he was very upset and he didn't like the fact that I called out all of these mistakes in front of his manager. So I knew in that one meeting, right, that he's not gonna like me at all, and they're not used, I guess, to a board member who questioned an IT paper, maybe much less a women board member. You know? And then from then on, he didn't like me.